Spend less time in the laundry room and more time doing the things you love. Introducing the Samsung Smart Top Load Laundry Pair, now available at Lowe's. The washer's large capacity means you can fit more in every load. Plus, its super speed setting washes a full load in only 28 minutes. Shop the smart washer that will streamline laundry day, backed by Lowe's Price Promise. Based on using super speed on a normal cycle with an 8-pound load. Terms apply. See Lowe's.com/price promise for details. U.S. only.
With prices soaring at the pump, filling up can be stressful. That's why Discover has your back with cashback. Use Discover to earn 5% cash back at gas stations and Target, now through June, on up to $1,500 in purchases when you activate. We know every dollar matters right now, but you can count on us. Get up to $75 cash back this quarter with your Discover It card. Limitations apply. Learn more at discover.com/rewards.
Hey, this is BJ. Thanks for listening to our show's podcast. If you're a fan of all things geeky, you should check out my other podcast, BJ Shea's Geek Nation. We have new episodes every day, and you can check it out at bjgeeknation.com.
Your driver's license is important so you can get back and forth to work, get your kids to school, and back and forth to daycare. If your license has been suspended because you can't pay your tickets, you can't do any of those things. Let's talk about Chapter 13 bankruptcy. You may have heard that tickets cannot be discharged, but they can be dealt with in a Chapter 13 case. Why not come in for a free consultation? The chapter you choose will make all the difference to your getting back, legally, on the road. Let's design a plan to pay off your tickets and restore your license immediately. I'm attorney Travis Gagne. Please contact me today at choosetherightchapter.com. That's choosetherightchapter.com.
99.9 KISW, the Rock of Seattle. Now, you may not have caught this, but Wednesday night was NBC's live performance of Dr. Seuss's The Grinch musical with Matthew Morrison playing the iconic Dr. Seuss character, The Grinch, of course.
We were going to DVR it. I totally forgot about that. I'm sure it's somewhere I can watch it.
I totally forgot about it. But it's got to be on demand, right? Somewhere?
You would think.
Yeah. Now, there was a scene in this performance that seemed to upset some people, especially Entertainment Weekly. Apparently, they got all upset about it. And there's a scene where the Grinch farted. And EW wrote, quote, "There's nothing worse in family entertainment than pandering fart/poop jokes. People seem to think it will be a surefire laugh from the kiddos."
Who are they to tell us what we like and dislike? I completely think it's a great idea to have a fart on a TV show.
Dr. Seuss didn't include such scatological humor in his original story, but somehow it was deemed necessary in this extended version. Now, in a moment that must be seen to be believed, the Grinch releases a large fart, complete with a sound effect, waves his hand in front of his nose, and blames Max. This moment stank in more ways than one.
They said that.
That's what they said, yes.
Who's the fun police at Entertainment Weekly? I'm so glad I canceled my subscription.
Yeah, I mean,
15
really.
years ago.
Yeah, right. Exactly. I mean, I don't know how relevant they are anymore. And here's the audio of what Entertainment Weekly's upset about.
Cookies! I'm a Roger. I'm a Grinch. Ooh, issues? Well, I got Max, how dare you? You wake up the neighbors.
What the hell did we just listen to?
I have no idea what's going on. I'd have to see the video, I think, in order to at least see in context. Did he bend over to get like some Christmas ornaments or trying to shove the tree up the chimney, and that's maybe where he had a little gas? I'm not sure where that came from.
That's from Grinch After Dark, BJ.
Grinch After Dark.
They oddly enough, they did complain also. I guess Entertainment Weekly felt that the Grinch was too moany.
You mean like orgasmic moany?
Yeah, they felt that he was a little too moany.
What is wrong with it? Seriously, kids are not going to even know that.
I'm looking at a GIF. He looks very turned on by everything he does.
Yeah, they said that he's uncomfortably sexual.
Oh, yeah, you know what? I have to say, that is, and he doesn't really look ugly. You know, because the Grinch is, I mean...
It's hairy and green. He doesn't look attractive.
But his face doesn't look as Grinchy as I've seen in the past. With you know, like Jim Carrey's makeup looked really good. I mean, you know, as far as his face, I guess he just looks a little too pretty. He looks a little too pretty in the face as the Grinch.
I want to text like, seriously? Farting is what upsets people these days? Critics are so stuck up. That's the thing. It's like you're being so overly critical about a silly musical.
And look, kids do...
This isn't like, you know, like Shakespeare.
And frankly, I mean, you know, kids do like poop humor. Who cares? You know, it's It's been around for the longest time.
Oh, there's the scene right there. So he just bent over and he just lets it fly.
Oh, okay. Oh, there we go. Oh, wow. Okay, he's definitely being deliberate.
He hurt his back.
All right.
You know, I have to say, maybe he's definitely doing a much different interpretation of how the Grinch be.
I'm glad I'm looking at this clip because just based on this clip alone, I really don't have any interest in watching this now. It looks kind of dumb.
I'm not too sure I like his portrayal of the Grinch either. At least from what I've heard and seen. I don't know. Maybe he is a little too breathy, and maybe he is a little more sensual than the average Grinch is.
Fortunately, there's like a million Grinch movies and shows out there that you can just avoid this one.
I haven't seen the Cumberbatch one. I will say it was a little shocking. Spoiler alert if you haven't seen the Jim Carrey one, which is 10 years old now? Or more?
I think way more than that.
Yeah.
It's probably like 20.
Is it 20?
I'd say between 15 and 20 years.
I think you're right. Mm-hmm. But either way, so basically he gets a girlfriend. Now that was never really, explored in the original cartoon. So
when did it come out?
2000.
Yeah.
20 years.
This is the 20th anniversary of the Jim Carrey Grinch movie. That's insane.
Somebody said the live action one that we just played, they said, I'm more annoyed that it sounded like a bad porno parody of the Grinch. I agree.
Yeah, but a lot of times when they put on these TV productions, they're not the greatest. You know, that like these live, because it was live, right? It was a live performance of this musical.
I think so.
Yeah, and so a lot of times, because they've been doing that. I don't know, The Sound of Music was done that way. A couple of other things.
The Jeffersons.
Well, and I actually didn't mind that. I thought that
it was done live.
Yeah, and nobody farted on that one as far as I could tell.
Not intentionally.
Yeah. Wow, that is a lot. But yeah, Steve, I'm with you. Okay, this is what you're complaining about?
And one text, I agree. Adults still like poop and fart jokes. I get to laugh every time.
Hell yeah.
And kids do too. I mean, with all the other stuff that's on TV, really, this is what you're going to be bitching about, EW? Okay, maybe that's why.
That's why I canceled my subscription 15 years ago.
Maybe you ought to think about that. All right, here's some news.
And I only had the subscription because it was one of those things they gave you for free, and then I just never bothered to cancel it. Yep. And then they started charging me.
That's how it goes usually.
That's how they suck you in.
Steve, you come up with a lot of ideas.
Okay.
No doubt about that. But now we know why Disney is the amazing company they are, because they had their Investors Day presentation yesterday. And, obviously you want the investors to know you got a lot of cool things in the pipeline. I cannot believe the amount of projects that they announced. They announced 5,000 new projects yesterday. All of my geek friends were just going insane in the Marvel universe, the Star Wars universe.
Dude, I saw so many people losing their minds about the Star Wars one especially, but then I thought of you because I saw it was like, they're bringing back Fantastic Four as well.
Yeah.
It's like, here's what is this, like third time's a charm?
I hope so. Please make it be good.
For me, it was the big announcement was the Mighty Ducks. The series was fully announced with it's called the Game Changers series, where Gordon Bombay comes back as the coach.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's gonna be.
So Emilio's coming back?
Yes.
Whoa!
It's gonna be a television series, so it's not gonna be a movie, but it's gonna be a series based on the movies.
Wow!
I'm looking forward to that.
I wonder how involved he's going to be.
I don't know
as far as a character in the show. I mean, because Emilio pretty much. I know he's been directing, but I don't think he's done anything in years.
It says that he's coming back as coach.
Wow. That's pretty big news. That's
Lauren Graham of Gilmore Girls fame. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
But she's coming into the show as well.
Well, the big news, I think, for a lot of folks, obviously a lot of Star Wars stuff, but Indiana Jones 5 is real.
With Harrison Ford?
With Harrison Ford back in the title role.
Is Short Round going to be in it?
I don't know. He's probably medium round by now, at least, right?
Average height round.
Yeah, it is due in theaters July of 2022. Which makes sense because Marvel is not going to pull a Warner Brothers. They are going to release their movies all in theaters. They're not going to throw anything on any Disney Plus first.
Dude, he's going to be 80 in 2022.
I know. I don't know. And look, he was fun in Force Awakens. And what was that, like 3 years ago or so? Mm-hmm. And he still, there were times where I'm like, he looks like an old man trying to do action. Like it looked a little painful to see him do some of the action scenes. But he was still fun.
Will he at least be in Times Square yelling at people and how they drive? So life can imitate art, or art can imitate life.
Yeah, that would be great. There are 10 new Star Wars series and 10 new Marvel series coming to Disney Plus in the coming years.
So these are TV series, not actual movies.
Yeah. And we've known about some of them already, and then there have been rumors
Is one of
about
them going to be
others.
the Ewoks? Otherwise, how the hell are they going to move 10?
I did not. I think that was happily missing from the announcement.
God dang it.
Sorry, buddy. So looks like there's going to be a Lando series. Don't know if Donald Glover or Billy D. Williams will be involved in it.
Okay.
But Billy D. Williams, of course, was involved in the last Star Wars movie, The Rise of Skywalker. He was in that, and he was good. Ewan McGregor is going to be in an Obi-Wan Kenobi series. Here's the big news. The guy that everybody hates. The guy
Jar
that played the second guy that everybody hates is Anakin Skywalker, played by Hayden Christensen. A lot of folks hated the way that character was.
So bad at that.
Is he coming back?
He's coming back to play Darth Vader.
Oh.
And what Lucasfilm is calling the rematch of the century. Now, I don't understand it. Hayden Christensen's an average height kid. And they always get a real tall dude to play Darth Vader. David Prowse just passed away, but I would figure, he was a tall dude. James Earl Jones is the voice, and there's always a tall dude in the suit. So I'm not sure what the hell Hayden's going to be doing, because last we saw of him, he became Darth Vader, at the end of episode 3.
Hayden Christensen's apparently 6 feet tall.
Yeah, I was going to say he's pretty tall.
But David Prowse was like
In
close to
Hollywood,
7
that's
feet.
like 8 feet.
If you look at David Prowse's height, I mean, we're talking like, 6.5 to 7 feet
You
tall.
can wear like those platform shoes that kids wear.
Or Tom Cruise is like 5'4". It's just like all movie magic and stuff like that.
And
You
even-
can fake a lot of that.
Hugh Jackman played Wolverine, who's supposed to be a short guy, and he was made to look shorter than Cyclops and all these other actors who he's actually taller than.
So these are all good points, but let me ask you this. Why do I care if I'm not hearing Hayden's voice and Hayden is behind all that costuming? You know what I mean? No, you didn't know who David Prowse was. You never saw the guy.
I'm wondering if we're going to see his face more.
Yeah,
then.
he'll probably
Be without a helmet every once in a while. He'll be lounging around at home. I mean, he probably doesn't wear his Darth Vader helmet
you know
at
what's
home.
probably, they said Vader at home.
or Fat Vader.
Yeah.
he could be doing
Fat Vader would be good. But I
don't appreciate your unconscious bias towards him, man.
somebody all woke now that you took our survey?
Yes, our company made us take an unconscious bias seminar, and now I've proven that I've taken it.
I failed it because I
Clearly, look at you, just assuming he can't be Vader.
I had a conscious bias against taking that whole thing.
Yeah.
I was really biased against taking that whole survey.
So, I mean, is this because The Mandalorian did so well? They're like, you know what, that went well. Let's do it 10 more times.
Here's the
It
thing.
seems like a lot to ask of your fans to watch 10 series.
Obviously, you don't understand what it's like to be a crazy person because you're not asking.
No, I know what it's like to work with a crazy person.
Steve, is wrestling asking a lot of you to watch all the wrestling you watch?
Yes. They are. Like, my DVR has things I've yet to get to. My Ring of Honor, my Impact. Like, it gets overwhelming.
That's
like,
because you have a child. Before that, you had no issue getting to all of that.
Solid point.
Yeah. So I don't think the fans are going to go, this is too much, Disney.
No, you're right.
Yeah, I am excited about this. One thing I'm very excited about is the Mandalorian has had a couple of spin-offs because of you talked about it. So specifically, that Ahsoka character that we were talking about a couple weeks ago, she is getting her own series, which a lot of folks thought.
Damn.
So that's one. Rogue One, I guess, is getting a prequel. A series?
So is Disney just now the Star Wars channel?
Yeah.
It's the Marvel channel too.
Oh, yeah. Don't forget. Loki and the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, WandaVision. I mean,
the Hawkeye one.
And those are all the ones we already knew. Like,
Yeah.
we're going to get I Am Groot, Moon Knight, Ironheart, the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special.
Which is going to be a show just about Groot?
Yeah. It's going to be an animated one with Baby Groot.
There you go.
I'm so excited for this.
Of course, people are going to dig that.
This is insane, man. And no Ewoks.
Secret
After all
Invasion.
this crap you're telling me, there's not a single Ewok
No
show.
Ewoks, man.
Because they're smart. Fantastic Four. I'm excited because the guy that's doing the new Spider-Man movies, the Holland ones, he's going to be involved in Fantastic Four. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed because I've liked what he's done on the Spider-Man movies. Yeah. And
Is there a buddy comedy of like an odd couple, but it's C-3PO and R2-D2 hanging out?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's called A Droid Story.
No, it is not.
Yeah. It'll feature a new hero alongside R2-D2 and C-3PO.
What about BB-8?
I don't know.
I'm not sure what's going to go on with those two.
This is a lot.
Yeah, and
Dude,
Chris,
a lot.
how about the big news? Chris Evans is also going to be the new voice of Buzz Lightyear. You are out, Tim Allen.
It's an interesting one because it's based on the quote-unquote actual person who was the basis of the Buzz Lightyear toy.
It's an origin story.
Yeah, it's an origin story of the quote-unquote actual man based on... It's confusing.
I'll watch it.
Oh yeah, I'll watch it too.
I'll watch it all because it's all Disney Plus, and I have it, so of course I'll get.
So
to watch
weed is legal in Hollywood, is what we're telling me, right?
Oh
yeah,
please.
they just gave it to everyone and said, "Hey, what's your idea?" Okay, we'll do that.
It's been legal for a while.
I mean, but it's super legal now, right?
Super.
It's encouraged.
How can we make billions of dollars of stuff we already own as opposed to just coming up with new ideas?
Rips a bong. He's like, bro, what we should do is an origin story on Buzz Lightyear.
There's just so much. I can't even tell you all the stuff. Stuff with Cars, Princess and the Frog, Big Hero 6. There's a Pinocchio, Peter Pan and Wendy, Chippendale Rescue Rangers. I mean, there's going to be a ton of stuff. And by the way, that Rescue Rangers live action hybrid, animation hybrid action with Andy Samberg and John Mulaney.
Yes, take
I'm
my money.
so stoked for John Mulaney doing this.
So how long until we have to pay more for our Disney Plus subscription? Because it's like $7 now.
I think they're bumping it up $1 a month.
Yeah.
Well, Netflix just did it. And what are they? They didn't come out with a big 5,000 new project line. They just go, we're charging you an extra $1. Sorry, pal.
I'm glad I already paid for my year.
Yeah. Well, we got a dude that bought his son a beer 6 years after he passed away. Oh, you're going to hear from the son. It's a cool story at 8:17 on The Rock.
BJ and Migs, mornings on The Rock, 99.9 KISW.
Spend less time in the laundry room and more time doing the things you love. Introducing the Samsung Smart Top Load Laundry Pair, now available at Lowe's. The washer's large capacity means you can fit more in every load. Plus, its super speed setting washes a full load in only 28 minutes. Shop the smart washer that will streamline laundry day, backed by Lowe's Price Promise. Based on using super speed on a normal cycle with an 8-pound load. Terms apply. See Lowe's.com/price promise for details. U.S. only.
Everything is better electrified. Like the guitar, toothbrushes, or cars. And Hyundai has the widest range of electrified vehicles on the market, including the first ever Tucson and Santa Fe plug-in hybrid EVs. You can use electric when you want it or gas when you need it. It's your journey. Evolve it beyond the pump in the 2022 Tucson or Santa Fe plug-in hybrid EVs. Visit your nearest Hyundai dealer or learn more at HyundaiUSA.com. Call 562-314-4603 for complete details.
$20 million, $19 million, $6 million. These are all awards recovered for clients of Phillips Law Firm. To win big, you have to fight big. And Phillips Law has been fighting the too big to fail insurance industry for decades. Not every case will have a multi-million-dollar outcome, but Phillips Law will fight just as hard to recover the outcome you deserve. If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident or on the job, call or click today at 1-800-JUSTICE or visit justiceforyou.com.
99.9 KISW, The Rock of Seattle. There's a guy in Massachusetts. His name is Matt. Lost his dad to cancer 6 years ago, but got a surprise gift from him on his 21st birthday last weekend. Wow, he was 15 years old when his dad passed away. I know the feeling. That really sucks. Before he passed, his dad, John, gave Matt's sister a $10 bill and said he wanted to buy Matt his first beer. Oh, that is really cool. So when he got to be 21, here's the $10, and Matt used it to buy a Bud Light, which was his dad's favorite,
and Bud Light Mike's favorite, as we learned over the last
true.
week.
Yeah. So how about this? The folks at Budweiser was like, "This is a really cool story." They heard about it. They sent Matt 8 more 30-packs of Bud Light.
Score
party.
Yeah, I'm looking at his tweet. He says, almost 6 years ago, before my dad passed, he gave my sister $10 to give to me on my 21st birthday. Cheers, Pops. I'm having this one for you. And there's a picture of the $10 bill and then a picture of him with a nice, looks like a good, what is that, a pint?
Yeah.
That's Bud Light.
Yeah, that's, I'll tell you right now, man, that's an awesome moment. And how about this? People from all over the world are now hitting up Matt on Venmo trying to buy him a beer.
That's pretty cool. I would, but he's wearing a Patriots beanie, and I want nothing to do with this guy.
Well, listen, he's from Massachusetts. Cut him a little slack. He is asking folks, listen, man, I appreciate it, but please donate it to a cancer institute instead. So the kid's got a bit of a heart of gold. Like, I got plenty of beer. How about you just help out,
Yeah, his tweets, he goes, hey, thanks, Budweiser USA. I think I got my next few beers taken care of. And there's a picture of him and his sister in front of all the beer that they sent. Which is a really cool move on Budweiser's part.
It's a very cool move, and it's really sweet. I mean, to be that young to lose a parent, that's really hard. I mean, obviously, and even younger than that, it's hard. But it's just those are man. So I love that his dad somehow still got to share in a milestone moment of his kid's life,
and thought about that. Hey, that's a big moment for him and his dad.
Here's Matt and his sister talking about the whole thing.
it was awesome. I mean, it was the best present I could ask for.
I know the hardest thing for my dad was knowing the things that he was going to miss out on. My little brother was his entire world. We put it in an envelope that night, like taped it up and put it in a safe and kept it in her closet for the last almost 6 years now.
You know, it felt like he was with me. It's kind of crazy. I never expected it to blow up like this. $10 turned into 240 beers like from Budweiser, and now it could turn into however much money in donation.
Huh. That's a great story all the way around, man. You know, that's a great gift from Dad on so many ways.
Oh, dude, I was just thinking, he's had one more beer than I've had with my father. I realized I never had a beer with my dad.
Oh. Wow.
My dad doesn't really drink.
I'm trying to think if I ever had a beer with my dad. You know,
he's had like a glass of scotch or like cognac. That was the thing back in the day. And as a kid, I tried to sneak and have a sip of cognac. That was a terrible idea. Ooh. Like, I looked at it, I was like, oh, this is probably, like, I just thought anything that was like a brownish liquor was going to taste like iced tea. You know, because I'm a kid. I'm like, okay, fair enough. Yeah, I was like, oh, this is going to be delicious. No. It was nasty.
So do you have any kind of bonding moment you remember with your pops?
No.
I mean, not at all, huh?
I mean, I have moments that are very memorable with my dad, more often than not because he has like a moment of a meltdown.
Yeah.
Like going to a hockey game, the Devils, and more recently him yelling at a guy who parked in front of his car, playing hockey, him watching and yelling at the defenseman on my team because they left me out to dry on a bunch of goals, and he started hitting one of the guys with his hat. I mean, these are all my bonding moments with my father. They're entertaining to look back on, but I really don't have like that sitting at a bar just BSing with Dad.
That's sort of a bonding adult moment. You know what I mean? Where it's like he recognizes you're now a man. You know, that kind of a thing. Recognizes you're a grown adult, really. I think, you know, you can have that with any of your kids, recognizing they're a grown adult.
Teaching me how to drive, getting frustrated, pulling me out of the driver's seat, putting me in the passenger seat, saying, I'm never teaching you again.
I don't think that's the kind of moment.
Oh, I remember that with my grandpa.
That was a good one.
Yeah, I'm not sure that was a...
None of these are working for you guys?
Yeah, so I don't think that's the kind of moment we're looking for. All right. Danny, how about you? Do you remember the moment where it was like your mom recognized you as a full-grown adult?
Okay. I was going to say, I don't have a dad, BJ.
Like, damn. Wow, Danny, thanks for going down that road. Wow, Danny.
You know, actually, for me and my mom, it was when she came up to Seattle a few years ago, and I had tickets to a show, like a concert. It was a Newfound Glory concert, and I was like, Mom, do you want to come with me? And she was like, yeah, I do, actually. I'd like to see what kind of concerts you've been going to all these years. So I took her, and we got to go to see one of my favorite bands, and she loved it. She enjoyed herself.
That's so cool.
And it was one of those like, wow, I remember when I was 13, I used to make my mom like drop me off down the street so my friends wouldn't see her, type of thing, going to a concert. But now it was like, I got to go to a show with my mom. This is amazing.
I had one where it was like my old band, Peter Parker, we went to New York for the CMJ Music Festival. We got invited to play there. So we went to New York and played at a club called the Continental in Manhattan. And my parents were like, we want to come see it. And I'm like, okay, this is going to be more stress than a need. But they were great. But it was a cool moment to look out into the crowd. And there's my mom and my dad in a sea of like 20-somethings just smiling.
Yeah,
it was
awesome.
It was like 2 a.m. We were like, we had the crappiest slot in this festival. Like it went on to like 5 a.m. or something like that.
And they stayed till that time.
I mean, they did not realize it, nor did we until we got there, what time we were going on. And I felt awful. And they were like, no, we'll stay. I'm like, no, go. We'll figure out how to get home. Don't worry about it, because they helped us get there in their car, and they were not in the best of moods until we went on stage, and then you could see like that moment of pride, like, yeah, this is cool. I'm going to see my kid play the drums in front of all these people. Yeah. It was fun.
That is awesome. They got to see that.
Yeah, that was probably like, that didn't end poorly. So I guess that's one of my favorite moments.
Yeah, and it's a moment where you are an adult. I mean, you're doing it, kind of a thing.
And my mom, like, she'll have some drinks from time to time. The only time we've ever really shared a drink was at my wedding, and we both had a pina colada together because she loves pina coladas.
That's awesome.
If you like pina colada.
That song, though, is not really good for a wedding, though, because they're both trying to cheat on each other. But anyway,
but they come together back at the end.
That's a good point. All right, Steve, so you're going to come together at the end and realize that you're cheating on your wife with your wife.
I just like the pina colada part.
Okay, fine. Vicky, do you have any moment with your parents where it's like, oh, I'm a grown-up and they're recognizing it?
Yeah, just because when I first started like having a drink or two, it would weird them out. And it wasn't until like actually sitting down and having a drink with my dad that it became okay and felt comfortable. But my dad, like on a regular basis, him and I will share a drink, like whether it's mojitos or just like a cider and a beer. But I think my favorite bonding moments are when I am able to go, just me and him, whether like, pre-COVID, go to comic book stores together and he would tell me about all the comics he would read. And then I get all crazy-eyed. I'm like, all right, let me explain to you what's going on in comics now. And we can both bond over the fact that we're both nerds, basically.
I hope that my kids have a moment when I recognize they're an adult. You know what I mean? Because there are a lot of great moments I can think of that I've had with my kids, as well as they probably had a lot of like, Dad, we wish you weren't around for some of these other not so great moments. But I'm trying to think, because I wouldn't know what their moments are where I was like, hey, you're an adult now. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I recognize you as a being.
Man, let's hear what they Rev, that bonding moment.
And Rev, how about you with your mom? Did you ever have a moment where you were recognized as an adult?
Yeah, I was around the 21st birthday or so when I ended up going out just for a casual drinks and brunch with her and my grandma.
Nice.
And it was just kind of neat. And it was, I think I ordered like my first Bloody Mary. And I was like, I've never had this before. And it was kind of just a little, it's weird to say, but it was kind of an exciting moment.
Yeah, I never... my dad, I would say one of the greatest moments I had with my dad, and it's so funny because he never said anything good to me, to my face.
Right.
So when I started this radio business and finally did get a job, it was at a little radio station nobody could hear, but it was a professional radio station where I got a paycheck. And I remember where, he never made me feel like I had a shot at this business. What I didn't know was everywhere he went to all the relatives' house, he bragged about how I'm on the radio and I'm a big star. And they told me this. Like, they were like, I want you to know your father really is proud of you. And I'm like, yeah, sure he is. No, you don't understand. We can't get him to shut up about you. And I'm like, really? He says nothing to me. He keeps telling me to get out of the business and do something else. So that's kind of like where I think, all right, in his heart anyway, he recognized me as an adult because I was doing something he was proud of, which wasn't easy because I didn't do a whole lot of what he was proud of when I was younger, that's for sure.
Well, what about you there, Sarah? What was your bonding moment with Pops?
I don't know about Dad, but the first one that came to my mind was with my mother.
Oh, boy.
That's okay. That works. You have two parents.
She took me to Lover's to buy my Christmas gift, which was a new toy. That was a very bonding, wow, you're like my mom. And I would be like, ew, gross. I don't want to talk about this stuff with my mom. But now we're here together learning about all the things.
I'm guessing the toy wasn't a G.I. Joe action figure with the Kung Fu grip.
No, but that sounds kind of cool.
Somebody had a Kung Fu grip, but anyway.
Yeah. Well, but I feel like right as I turned 21, Dad, you and I were taking shots together and enjoying drinks and have been ever since.
Yeah, I always see those pictures on you guys' Instagram and social media pages boozing it up together.
Oh yeah, I make him drinks all the time.
It's pretty awesome.
All right, what about your son then?
This will be interesting. I don't know. It could be with his mom too. For all I know,
I have one that I can remember. I think it was the backstage at one of our shows, and it was Ralphie May, you, and your son. And I thought that was a cool, from an outsider's perspective. I was like, oh, that's a cool father-son bonding moment with the stone Ralphie May.
Oh, that was awesome.
Yeah.
When he pulled us to the front row and had us do the whole comedy thing. Yeah, that one was definitely a big bonding moment. No, but the first one that came to mind for me, though, was junior year, summer. BJ wanted me to get a job. And I did not want to get a job. I was lazy. I wanted to play on my computer all day.
Was?
Yeah.
Just kidding.
So he grounded me, and he's like, you got to get a job or you're grounded. You can't play the computer. And I went a month and a half without doing anything. And one day I get home from hanging out with my friends after still not having a job. And he calls me and he goes, Joe, we got to talk, which is code for I'm going to whip your ass and ground you for another week, which is great. Hooray. But no, as it turns out, I had applied for a job at the grocery store, and they had left a message on the answering machine saying, hey, we want to hire you, come in for your final interview kind of a thing, which is really your first interview. And BJ looks at me and goes, I don't understand it. I hound you for a month and a half. You don't do any interviews, do anything. And I come home to this answering machine. And then he gives me a hug. He goes, it's great. I'm glad you got a job. That's awesome. And it was just a great moment,
Oh, wow. You know what? I'm
you don't
glad.
Remember that, do you?
No, I do.
Oh, okay.
No, I remember. I mean, right. You know what, Joe? And I got to say something right now. As you recall that story, my father was so kind to me when I didn't want to get a job at 15. I had one at this grocery store, and then I wanted to quit. He was the only one in my corner. And now hearing that I was the opposite... You know, if your grandfather was alive, he would have overruled me. You wouldn't have been grounded. Everything would have been good. He would have said, "Remember when you were 15? You didn't get a job, so he's not getting it." I'm like, all right, fine, I lose. So sorry that your grandfather wasn't around to correct that, but I'm glad that was still a good moment.
No, and it was great. I mean, I ended up loving the job. So
yeah, and we sometimes got discounts. It was really nice.
That's why Dad was excited.
And I was excited because it was a grocery store. He was following in my footsteps because I started my first job was at a grocery store. So I thought this is really cool.
And I started getting paid.
How about this one? Texas says 2 Christmases ago, I got to sit in a hotel in Ocean Shores with my conservative parents, and I smoked weed with my dad. We laughed uncontrollably for hours. I'll never forget it. Man,
That's
if I could get stoned with my mom, I would go back to smoking weed for that one instance. That would be hilarious.
Oh, yeah. I bet your mom would be fantastic.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
She just talk and talk.
She sounds like, the partier of the two.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, still to this day. Like, she'll be drinking some Jack Daniels while my dad's asleep on the couch.
Here's what I'm going to say right now. I always know the mom in you when it comes out, which is pretty much 80% of the time.
Yeah.
And then every once in a while when Steve's not a good one, I go, oh, here's Pops. Here's Pops rearing his ugly head.
Pretty much my wife. It's like, maybe a couple times a month, she's like, okay, Bill. And I'm like, oh, crap. My bad. I need more Roseanne, awesome. more Zen.
Yeah. Oh, your mom's awesome. Plus, she gave me cupcakes. She was awesome. My only memory of his mom.
10 years ago.
But dude, she knows. I mean, how about she knows me? She just goes out of her way to make sure I get a bunch of cupcakes. And I'm like, of all the things that are at this wedding, you are bringing me exactly what I want. This is pretty fantastic. Yesterday, Steve, or is it Bill? Can't remember. He did get this one wrong.
In the Bond franchise, Francisco Scaramanga is known as the man with the golden what? Eye. No. Hole. No.
Golden ticket.
No.
Finger.
No.
By the way, a lot of people don't know we would never have had Tattoo if not for this great movie because that's her villages. That's where we first knew him. Was in the name of Yes. Oh, man.
That just went over the head of 80% of our show.
Well, look it up.
Google it.
Yeah, I should have said Google it. That was totally an okay boomer moment on my part.
Check the Encyclopedia Britannica.
It's not like the movie came out in 1975 or anything. Yeah, The Man with the Golden Gun. You want a shot at beating Steve? You got it. 206-421-ROCK. We're playing Beat Migs at 8:47 on The Rock.
Today's podcast was brought to you by Travis Gagne, bankruptcy attorney. Here's another question from a listener. How long is a bankruptcy going to affect my credit rating?
Of course, most of the time, by the time we're talking about filing a bankruptcy, the credit has already taken a huge hit. Chapter 7 is going to affect it more negatively than Chapter 13. Chapter 7 stays on your credit report for 10 years from the time you file. It usually takes 7 or 8 years for your credit scores to get back into the normal range in a Chapter 7 case. However, your credit will start to recover even in Chapter 7 after about a year. You'll be able to get credit again right away, usually before your case is even over. Chapter 13 stays on your credit report for 7 years and usually takes about 3.5 years for your credit to get back in the normal range. So Chapter 13 will mean your credit gets better much more rapidly.
Thanks, Travis. If you have more questions about bankruptcy, you can reach out to Travis anytime at choosetherightchapter.com. That's choosetherightchapter.com. Thanks for listening.
Spend less time in the laundry room and more time doing the things you love. Introducing the Samsung Smart Top Load Laundry Pair, now available at Lowe's. The washer's large capacity means you can fit more in every load. Plus, its super speed setting washes a full load in only 28 minutes. Shop the smart washer that will streamline laundry day, backed by Lowe's Price Promise. Based on using super speed on a normal cycle with an 8-pound load. Terms apply. See Lowe's.com/price promise for details. U.S. only.
$20 million, $19 million, $6 million. These are all awards recovered for clients of Phillips Law Firm. To win big, you have to fight big. And Phillips Law has been fighting the too-big-to-fail insurance industry for decades. Not every case will have a multi-million-dollar outcome, but Phillips Law will fight just as hard to recover the outcome you deserve. If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident or on the job, call or click today at 1-800-JUSTICE or visit justiceforyou.com.